Keith Fitz with us this morning. Picking out one particular stock, you say that Palantir is a critical element in our national defense. Well, currently $22 a share. Why is it so important, and where do you think the stock's going?
Great question. Super appropriate for this morning. Thank you for asking. So Palantir is critical to defense because it helps with targeting, helps with logistics, helps with decision making. It integrates so many different data points that conventional sequence-oriented computing can't. So to me, this is a stock that should be $50. I've been talking about it for a little while. It's taken a little bit to get its footing, but we're about there, and I think it's totally underestimated.
Do you know if Palantir is in any way, shape or form part of Israel's defense technology? Because it just emerged from the weekend as being particularly good. Did Palantir help them? I don't know whether you know that or not.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know that for a fact, but I would not be in the least surprised that it is not highly involved.
Got it. Keith, Samsung has overtaken Apple in the global smartphone market. Apple's now second. Do you still see a big rebound for Apple stock?
I do, and this is something I've given a lot of thoughts about. Samsung is like farming on somebody else's property because its smartphones depend on Google. But Apple owns its own land, it owns its own ecosphere, and customers really want it. So yeah, if you're talking about smartphones, Samsung's a feisty competitor. But if you're talking about long-term success, Apple's still the way to go in my mind.
Were you surprised this morning when you see this kind of sharp gain for the market? I know that Goldman Sachs earnings help and the retail sales help, but we had a war going on over the weekend. It's a Monday morning. Were you surprised to see so much green on the screen?
No, I wasn't. And here's why is, number one, we're all still here, to your point. Number two, the computers trade more money than humans do. And the fact that global markets did not melt down overnight really gives the computers a reason to come in and buy. So human emotion being what it is, we're now going to play catch up with what the computer started, assuming this stays in control in the Middle East.
There's no flight to safety. I would have expected a lot of money to go into treasury bonds, putting the yield down. That didn't happen. I'd expect money to go into gold, pushing the price up. That didn't happen. Gold is actually down a bit this morning. And I was expecting maybe oil would rally significantly. That didn't happen. Oil is down. Surprised at all of this? No flight to safety?
Well, again, I've been doing this a long time, Stuart, and so I've been very involved in the computers behind the scenes, very aware of the technological and financial advancements. So, you're absolutely correct. Those things should be running, but the fact that they're not really proves the point that you and I talk about all the time. A lot of this risk has been arbitraged out of the market. So take a deep breath, focus on the best companies, because if anything, this is an advantage for individual investors that those things aren't running today.
It just seems like good news is really good news.
Exactly.
We've got these retail sales figures very strong.
Wow, yeah.
Double the expectation in terms of sales, and over the past year, pretty much the same story. Again, that's very good news, and the market liked it. We're not used to this.
It is, and isn't that cool? Because good news actually means we can move forward. So that to me spells hope, it spells resilience, it spells the fact that people want to live. And that's a good thing in human nature, Stuart.
Ain't that the truth? Keith Fitz, thanks for joining us this morning. All good stuff. A couple of seconds, 10 seconds left before we open the market. This is just one of those very interesting days. You're coming off a war situation over the weekend. You're coming into what looks like a fairly strong economy. Retail sales pretty good. And you've got the stock